All right, here are your instructions at home learning students for the second half of week 10. So you should have already in the week checked your feedback for the compare and contrast essay, filled out that form and submitted it, and done part 1 of the Build a School assignment. Watch this video for like me giving you instructions on what to do for those assignments. But today, you are obviously watching this video, so you found it, and then you are going to do part 2 of the Build a School assignment. So, Build a School Part 2 looks like this. So it is building from Part 1, and if you have not done Part 1 yet, you need to do Part 1 first. These obviously build on each other, so again, if you have not done Part 1, this one, do this before you go on to Part 2. But Part 2, you're basically extending kind of the fun mission statement, school mascot, kind of fun stuff you started with your school, your high school, earlier in the week, and you're extending it into more of the nitty-gritty curriculum and scheduling things for part 2. So there are a few different things you need to do here. The first one is answer some basic questions about your school schedule. I'm going to highly recommend that you click here. This is from the Minnesota Department of Education. This is like a government document. Just take a quick skim through this. I think it's just good for you to know that there are very strict guidelines on what schools can do, how many days students have to be in school, how many hours and whatnot. I am okay for this assignment if your school breaks the rules on how many days of school per year the government mandates we're supposed to have, but I just want you to have access to this. So click on this, check it out. It's just interesting info to know. But answer these 4 questions. Basically, you're just starting to put together your school's schedule. Next, you're going to go into your curriculum. Start to think about what your curriculum would look like at this school that you are designing. Before you plan out your school, please click here. This will bring you to, again, the Minnesota Department of Education's graduation requirements. So in order for a senior in Minnesota to graduate from high school and get their diploma, they need to take the following: 4 years of language arts, 3 years of math, 3 years of science, 3.5 years of social studies, 1 year of arts, and then a bunch of electives. That part of what the Minnesota Department of Education mandates, you have to stick to for your kind of imaginary school. So, down here in this chart here with this purple, I have typed out all of the different departments, and what I want you to do is as follows. So, what types of courses will your students in your high school, what types of courses will your students take in each department at your school? Remember, you can adapt the classes in each department to fit your school's purpose and mission, which you wrote on part 1. So are they going to take AP classes in these subjects? Will they be doing more hands-on classes? Are they going to be taking like a language arts class that's tailored for a specific career path? And I'll give you examples in a moment. Are they going to be taking a math class that focuses on a specific aspect of math? So what I want you to do is to start to brainstorm. So at your school, what would the language art department look like? What type of reading, writing, speaking, discussion classes will your students be taking? Will they be taking AP classes? Will they be taking more like technical classes? Like, for example, if your school is really focused on maybe the arts, will the language arts classes be focused on more theater and performing monologues and reading plays? Or if your school is really focused on maybe like mechanical work and teaching students hands-on skills, will your language arts classes be focused more on interview skills for getting jobs or writing different reports? Like what specific types of writing skills and writing classes will be offered at your school? Same thing for math. What type of math classes will be offered at your school? You can kind of get creative with this, whatever falls under the general term of math. Science, will your students be taking AP science classes? Will they be going outside? Is your school a very environmental friendly class? Will they be going outside and studying different things in nature? Like what types of science classes? Social studies, are they going to be taking business classes? Are they going to be really focused on how the government works? Like what type of social studies classes do you want students at your school to have access to? Arts, this can be anything. It could be music classes, it could be dance classes, this could be band, choir, this could be drawing, painting, this could be like woodworking or creating things with metals or like creating a yearbook, or just anything that would fall under like fine arts. Maybe it's graphic design, but what type of arts classes will your students be taking? And then finally, this is the part where you can have more fun. Electives. What type of elective classes do you want to offer at your school? Do you want business classes? Do you want mechanical classes with cars? Do you want a class focused on taxes or how to write cover letters? Like, what type of elective classes do you want to be offered at your school? Maybe languages would be another big one too. Do you want American Sign Language or German or Chinese, or what type of languages? And then finally, the last part of this assignment, tell me what a normal school week looks like. How many days a week are your students in school at your high school? What hours of the day are they in school? Keep in mind, remember that it's okay if you break those Minnesota mandated, like basically laws that schools have to follow. But I just want you to be aware that like schools are very controlled on how many hours we have to have in student contact. But at your school, it's okay if you break these rules for this assignment. So what time do your students get to school? If you need to change these times over here, feel free. How long do you want your class periods to be? Do you want them to be 45 minutes? Do you want your students to do all their math, science, and English classes in the morning, and then they do their like fine arts or technical classes in the afternoon? Are they only here for part of the day? Like, what does a normal Monday through Friday look like in your school? Feel free to like delete different rows if like your students leave school at 2 p.m. or if they don't have school on Wednesdays, or if your students get to school really early and only stay till a certain time. Like, adjust this as needed, but just tell me what your school schedule looks like. So that is part 2. So again, you must do part 1 first and use your mission statement, use what you brainstormed here to build your school curriculum, what classes are offered in each department, and build your school schedule. Let me know if you have any questions, but that is what you need to do for the second half of week 10.